Meanwhile, extreme weather conditions caused by Storm Ciara led to the cancellation of hundreds of flights, railway services and sports marches across the UK and Northern Europe on Sunday. Energy companies said hundreds of thousands of British homes lost power during the storm. Let's check this out with Juliana. Great to see you, Juliana. Good afternoon. Check in with Storm Ciara. What sound bites are coming out of the insurance sector in terms of the damage already done to property and, of course, outlook on the storm in the near term?
Good afternoon, Chimeze. Well, Storm Ciara, I thought it was Ciara, as in the R&B singer, but it's Ciara. It's causing havoc across the north and south of Britain. Insurance companies at the moment are not even putting out a quote because they say the damage is just too much. And even though the brunt of the storm is gone, there are devastating consequences and weather disruptions that they're expecting over the next 24 and 48 hours. At the moment, in terms of payout, we're really looking at passengers who have suffered delays and cancellations, both from British Airways and the rail networks. At the moment, everybody is saying that, you got to speak directly with the airline. Unfortunately, for a lot of passengers, there will be disappointment because it's harsh wind and weather. And when there is wind and weather involved in rail or airline cancellations, it's an act of God. And they say it's out of the airline's hands, but you can still check with them. Also, as well, a lot of damages we've seen on social media with cars. A man actually was killed earlier today because a tree fell on his car whilst he was driving, and there have been lots of images showing destroyed cars due to flooding or trees smashing into them. Now, if you have full comprehensive insurance, which includes theft and damage, then you will get a payout on your car. But if you don't have one of those full policies, then you won't be receiving any money. When it comes to weather, Chimeze, this is something we've been experiencing, especially if you live in the north of England, for several years now. And the Environment Agency are asking for more money from the government for preventative measures, especially when it comes to flooding. There's a lot of lowland areas and regions around Somerset and other areas like that. And they're asking for the government for £1 billion a year. So even though we are expecting insurance companies to compensate these victims, that could take weeks and months. And the real damage and the real money is needed right now. So there'll be lots of discussions going back and forth with 10 Downing Street this afternoon, I'm sure.
Well, Juliana, thank you for making the correction on the name of that storm. Storm Ciara. I get that. Anyway, struggling UK regional airline Flybe is still in the air. How is this operator coming with its operations and a financial lifeline incoming for it, and what negotiations are on the table?
Well, Flybe are still very much in trouble. Just last month, they had a bailout from the government. Even though they weren't given hard cash, they were taken the £10 million in air passenger duty that they were owed was wiped off by the government, and they still need more money. There was some discussions going on with their chief execs and people at Whitehall over the weekend, and they're really asking the government for another bailout, which is going to be controversial because even with the tax levy that they got last month, a lot of the big British Airways chief execs and other airline managers were not happy because they said, look, Flybe is still related to Delta Airlines, one of the most profitable airline companies in the world. They should be giving them the money, not the taxpayers. But shareholders this morning have said that they are willing to take up some of the buck of Flybe if indeed rumours are true that they cannot pay some of their staff and some of their bills at the end of the month while they're still negotiating some more money from the government. Now, this is going to be a really tough sticking point for Boris Johnson because, of course, Flybe is Europe's most biggest regional airline. It helps those who are in the north of England to get into London, and without it, it would collapse a lot of different companies. And Boris Johnson has said that he will be paying back lots of these individuals who came out in their droves to vote for him in that December historical election. So it's a very difficult situation situation to be in. There are airports and baggage companies that are not billing Flybe, because if they do, then it could push Flybe over the edge. So really difficult, tense time for them.
And it's not a particularly great day for the global markets this Monday. No thanks to the coronavirus scare. How are the London markets holding up so far today?
Well, the London markets opened in the red, and at intraday they're still in the red, and it's all about this coronavirus, Chimezie, as you say. There's lots of people are counting the body count. At the moment, it's 908. I'm sure if I come off air, it would have increased by 1 or 2. Just earlier this morning, the government here said that the coronavirus is now a severe threat to the British public. I think now we've got our 6th confirmed case in country of the coronavirus. In France, there are a couple of British individuals that are there that are suspected of having the illness. So now, if you are suspected of having coronavirus and you live in the UK, you will be forcibly quarantined, and so will your family. We still have a couple of planefuls of people that have come from Wuhan that are quarantined in an unknown location. But the numbers at intraday, the all-share is down 0.31%. The FTSE 100 is also down 0.26%, and the FTSE 250 is down by 0.19%. In currencies, the British pound is up on the US dollar by 0.26%, up on the euro by 0.29%, and up on the Japanese yen by 0.32%, Jimmy.
It's really a scary one there. Well, let's continue to track the market. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the day.